Thank you guys for coming. Appreciate you coming to our football 2019 signing class press conference. I don't want to take too much of our time. I just want to introduce our head coach, Daren Wilkinson, to discuss the future of Javelina football. Coach.
All right. Appreciate that, John, and it's kind of exciting. This is my fifth one of these. It seems like yesterday now, where I was sitting here on my first one, and we had Snake Wallace sitting over there with you, Lewis, and Snake is no longer with us, the biggest fan in the world, but it doesn't seem like it's been 5 years I've been here. It's amazing, and there's been, yeah, that's right. They asked me some tough questions too, so I'm expecting that out of you, Lewis. You got to carry that tradition. Yeah. But my point being is, man, it's been a crazy fast 4 years, going on 5 years now. We're really excited about what we're doing here, really excited about the future, and that's what we're going to talk about today is the future and some of the work that myself and our coaching staff has done and people in the community have done to make this program move forward. And that's the exciting thing about signing day. You look all over the country and people, universities all over the country have excitement right now because everybody's 0-0, a lot of optimism and a lot of new faces that are going to be representing the programs everywhere. And we're certainly excited about the people we're going to talk about. Before I get started, I really want to talk about a couple of things here. I actually left some of my notes back at home, so I'll have to go off the top of my head. You really couldn't do a signing class without, I can't tell you how many people helped us out in this. And it's the same thing every year. You can go to any university in our conference, and this is not meant to be any kind of slam on anything, but there's always going to be places wherever we recruit against, they're going to have something better than us. We're going to be better than them at some things. I tell you, the one thing that I will put up over anybody that we ever recruit against are the people that make up this community, the people that make up this university, and in particular that make up the athletic department. And there's a lot of people to thank as we start talking about the recruiting class and how we did. But, you have to start at the top, and he's not here anymore. But boy, Dr. Talent did an unbelievable job in moving this university forward. And particularly with the athletic department, he helped us out a tremendous amount. And I know that Dr. Hussey is going to continue that legacy and move it even further forward. And so we're thankful for the leadership of this university, thankful for Steve Roach and what he's meant to the athletic department. And we're really excited as a whole athletic department, but in particular right now, talking about football, being able to work with him and move this program forward. As you start talking about the way that we recruited and people that helped, boy, I'm going to miss some people, but I want to talk about some key people, in the community, from Phil Neeson at the dealership there that really made it so that we can go out and recruit by helping us with the transportation and the automobiles that we use to do that. He's a big stud, man. We appreciate Phil. The restaurants that help us out, the boys at Big House Burger, Scott over at Young's Pizza, and all the people that help there to make our recruiting visits top notch. I tell you, our kids that come in on visits, one thing's for sure, they don't leave hungry. We take care of them, and they enjoy. People at El Tapatio, same thing. There's some people that, just are our go-tos out in the community that help with things. As you talk about the department, and I think I've talked about this a lot almost every time I stand up, but we've got a very close-knit department. It's no thing for me to call up Johnny Estelle at 8 in the morning on a Saturday, and I did this year. Called Johnny at 8 in the morning on Saturday, and he had a game that afternoon, and said, dude, I got a guy I need you to talk to. Can you help me out? And, man, Johnny was on the spot. No problem, coach. When can I meet him? It's not, man, coach, I don't know. It's when can I meet him? And I'm pointing out Johnny, but I think everybody in our athletic department has that initiative as far as where to look to drive this program. And it's going to take a community. It's going to take everybody going in the same direction. And I'm really thankful for the way that we have people in this athletic department in particular that have that eye on the prize. People, the registrar, the academic support with Hannah Lance, admissions, financial aid, people that help out with the visits, do a tremendous job with that, and we're really thankful for them. And so I can go on and on and on about thanking people, but really I want to start talking about the meat and potatoes of why we're here, and that's the football program and in particular the signing class that we're going to talk about. As we started recruiting, and recruiting is really a year-long process, and so it really never ends. And so when I say when we started, it really doesn't ever. There's really no start or end. It just keeps on going. So we have a signing class today, but we're going to be recruiting tomorrow. All right, and it just never ends. But when we started identifying what we wanted to have in this signing class, there are a couple major components. All right, number one is we needed to get bigger. You look at our season last year, and we did a nice job. I mean, I thought we had a really good football team, and the record probably didn't show as good as what our team was capable of playing. But you just look at the first game of the year. When we were a fully healthy team, we took the number one team in the country to double overtime and lost by a point. I mean, we had 2 bad snaps on PATs and lost by a point. The game shouldn't even gone into overtime. But we had the ability to be a good football team. What we lacked a little bit was proven depth. And I think that's what we really decided we need to go out and get is depth, particularly in the trenches where, football games really are won and lost in the trenches. And those people's names aren't ever written in the paper. I can't remember if there's the last time an offensive lineman or defensive lineman was the league MVP. All right, but those guys are what make football go. All right, and we thought we need to get bigger on both sides of the ball, and then you always want to be as fast as you can. Okay, so when we started identifying people, that's what we really wanted to work on is increase our size in the trenches and find guys that can run and make plays for us on both sides of the ball. And I think we did that. I'm going to start talking about these guys, and we have some slides up here. But before I do, I'm going to throw out some numbers, and I think they're pretty accurate. We're probably still waiting on a few guys. That's the thing with signing day. You try and get people to understand deadlines, but deadlines sometimes don't coordinate up with the high school signing party and all things else. So we're still waiting on a couple names, but I think the numbers I'm going to tell you are pretty accurate. I think we've got we have about 8 transfers right now, maybe 9. I'm looking at Hannah right now, and I think we have 9. All right, we might have another one here coming on board, but right now we got 9 transfers that signed with us this year, which we've never signed that many up to this point. And we just felt that with what we have coming back, if at worst these transfers that we're going to talk about are backups for us, we're going to be a great football team because we're pretty good right now. If at best these transfers come in and they compete, which I know they will, and they win some starting spots, we're going to be an even better football team. All right, and so what we created with these transfers is some of the depth that I'm talking about. And the first guy I'm going to talk about, Devlin Isidore, we call him Izzy. All right, Izzy is a 6'4", 225 quarterback. And you talk about, well, Coach, why'd you sign a transfer quarterback? You got the last 2 starting quarterbacks on your football team right now. Well, competition breeds excellence. And whoever our starting quarterback is, I'm really confident we're going to be very good. Izzy is already here on campus, actually. He's taking classes and he's working out with the football team. He's transferring from North Texas. Was a player there. He played high school at Houston Eisenhower, as it says up there. So he's a Houston kid. He's kind of in our footprint, the Javelina footprint, as far as what we want to go and recruit. And like I said, he's going to compete for the starting job. We've got 2 very capable guys here on campus already that have started a bunch of football games for us, but I really feel happy about being able to have this competition at the quarterback spot. And we're just going to kind of go in order. The next guy is not a transfer. Oh, he is actually. Dante Ross. Is that the next guy on? There you go. Dante Ross is another transfer for us. And we found Dante back in the fall. He was a wide receiver at Kent State, and before that he was at Antelope Valley out in California. And you guys who are fans remember 2 years ago a guy named Jordan Thomas. All right? And I know a lot of people in the Lone Star Conference remember that name. He was the conference wide receiver of the year 2 years ago, and for the first 3 years here with me as a head football coach, I think he's the best receiver in the conference all 3 years. This guy reminds me a lot of Jordan. He's kind of built like him. He runs like him. He's smooth like him. The NCAA allows us to work with kids for 2 hours a week right now, where we can be one coach to 8 players, and we can work with them and do some drills. And we had him out throwing and catching yesterday, and what we saw on film, we saw in person. So we're excited about this guy. He's going to do a heck of a job for us. Very explosive. He can run. He can go get the ball, and very smooth with his ball skills. So Dante Ross. Next guy's another transfer. Darian Hambrick. There we go. Darian Hambrick, listen to this now. He is 6'5", 230-pound wide receiver. He's what you see, and he's from Tennessee. And so, just his footprint where he's from, he's what you see playing in the SEC. I mean, that type of wide receiver. If you watch his film, and what everybody does these days is you have this thing called Huddle, H-U-D-L, and that's where everybody puts their film on and highlight films and things like that. You put Darian's film on. He goes by Brick, by the way. So if you hear us talking about Brick, it's a good thing, all right? With Coach Johnny's got a kid named Brick. I don't know if I want to be Brick on the basketball court, but Brick, he's good. He's built like a brick. But you watch his highlight film, about the first 10 snaps is him going over the top of people, making catches, which, at 6'5", 230 pounds, he's going to be a matchup problem for everybody. I mean, it doesn't matter who we play, inside or outside the conference, he is going to be a matchup problem, and he gives us a lot of options as far as playing him outside, playing him inside, doing some things. It's going to be tough for teams to match up with him. And we beat a number of schools in our conference on this guy. It's not like Darian had nothing to do but come to Texas A&M Kingsville. We beat some people, so this is a good recruit as well. The next guy I think is one of our high school kids, and we're staying with the wide receiver spot, Casey Barnett. There we go. Casey is a 6 foot, 175-pound wide receiver from Marshall High School. Marshall, Thurgood Marshall there in the Houston area. Real explosive kid. He's a guy that when Marshall went to the state championship game, they lost in the state championship. In fact, this guy, he lost in the state championship in football, and he lost in the 4x200 in the state championship in track. And his team actually won the state championship as a whole last year in track. But he's a multi-sport athlete, very fast, as you can tell by coming in second in the state of Texas is pretty good when you're talking about relays and sprints and things. And so he's very athletic, but my point being is he'll be a fly sweep type of guy also. I mean, he can go catch the ball. He's smooth, but you watch his film, and man, he's getting the fly sweep and scoring. They give him the fly sweep, and he throws the ball on trick plays, and he goes down and catches balls as well. Tough guy to match up with, so we're excited about Casey. Next guy, sticking with wide receivers, and this is our first local kid, Bubba Lloyd. 6'4", 190-pound kid out of Corpus Christi Miller High School. And Miller has a lot of tradition, but they haven't been very good recently. I think Coach Justin Evans, has been there for the last 2 years, and he was an offensive coordinator at King, and after that he was the head coach at Alice, and he's been at Miller for 2 years, and he's taken a team that probably won 1 game, maybe 0 games the year before, and he's gone to the playoffs now. And he's taken, he's really instilled some excellence in that football program. Most of those guys at Miller's campus, and Johnny will probably attest to this, are they're tall guys like Bubba. They look like basketball players, and they've always had a good basketball program. And Coach Evans has done a nice job of getting those basketball players to be multi-sport guys, and that's what Bubba is. Bubba played, I think, 3 sports at Miller. Let's see, first team all South Texas, 2-time first team all district. So the 2 years that he's played varsity football, he's been all district, and he's all South Texas this year. Again, matchup problems. You talk about a 6'4" guy, 190 pounds. He can run. It's going to be tough for teams to match up with him. That's what you look for. What we're going to look for a lot at wide receivers, ways we can match up with people to beat them. In height and explosiveness, obviously, is something that gives you an up on people, and so we're excited about Bubba. I think that's it with the wide receivers. Our next guy we're talking about is another transfer, Travis Arroyo. Now, Travis, like a couple other guys I already talked about, he's already here on campus. Travis is 6'3", 315-pound offensive lineman. He transferred from Blinn Junior College, and before that, he was at a Division I school, Louisiana Monroe. And so he's got some ability. There's a lot of different publications out there that rank things, but Travis was ranked the number 2 guard in all junior college football. And we battled a lot of different people. He's a really good football player, and we talked about what I said at the beginning. We want to get bigger, and we want to get better at the offensive line and defensive lines, and Travis is helping us with that. The other thing that he brings, which if you caught my little angst a little bit about our first game where we botched a couple of snaps in the kicking game, Travis is a very good long snapper also, and so we're looking for him to help us with that, where it's a sure thing every time you get out there to kick a ball. And so we're excited about Travis. And again, he's on the field right now. He's in class right now on campus. He's already shown us athleticism out there doing the runs and lifts, and we're excited about him. Next one, high school kid at the offensive line, Wilkinson. And if that last name sounds familiar, it's because his brother, I get both of them mixed up. I call one Kyle and I call one Will, and it's always wrong. But his brother Kyle Quino plays for us already. He's been here for a couple of years. Started a bulk of the games last year for us, and so Will is following his brother's footsteps from Klein Oak High School, one of our Houston kids. 6'3", 310-pound kid. He's 2-time all-district first team. He came to our camp. He was excited to come down and be in our camp. And about the biggest compliment you can give an offensive lineman, if you start talking about an offensive lineman, is you tell him that he's nasty. If you're a nasty offensive lineman, that's a good thing. All right, it means that you don't have any problem getting dirty in the trenches and getting after people. And there's a little term that we like. You play through the whistle. All right, you don't stop at the whistle. You play through the whistle. So till the last sound's coming out of the whistle, you play through that thing. And Mr. Quino does a nice job of that. He's a nasty player, and we're looking forward to him playing for us. Next guy, offensive lineman Ricky Guevara, 6'4", 330-pound tackle guard type player from Capel High School up in the Dallas area. And normally we don't go up and recruit the Dallas area. Ricky has some people down here that, he has relatives in the area. Nick Prada, who works on campus, is related to him, and he put us in contact with him. Ricky came down to a camp this summer. He loved the place. And on top of everything, Ricky is a very, very good student, and he wants to be an engineering student. And the people over in the engineering school did an unbelievable job with him several times as he came down here. And so he's excited to be here. Like I said, family helped out a ton. He's going to be a guy. He's got some work to do. I told him when he was here, the biggest thing he's got to do, like a lot of young offensive linemen, is they've got to shape their body. They've got to mold their body. But he's got good clay to do that, if you get my point. I mean, he can get molded, and we look forward to him getting better here as a football player. Next one, Devon Burrows, 6'4", 310-pound offensive lineman from Aldine Davis High School. He is a big-time player for us. We did a nice job. Our coaching staff did a nice job at Aldine Davis. I think we signed 4 teammates there, and it's a program that has been good in the past, and they're starting to get better again, and they've always had very good athletes. And so we'll talk about him. He's an offensive lineman, second-team all-district selection. He's a team captain. The thing that you notice about him when he is on the field in his film is he's very athletic. He's only played football for 2 seasons, I think, maybe 3, but he was a basketball player. and you can see his athleticism come out that he had playing basketball as he moves around the football field. You like those things. You watch the NFL, some of the best players in the NFL started as basketball players, and there's a little bit of athleticism that comes from playing on the basketball court. And so we're excited about him. Next guy, Pesa Tupa. All right, we haven't had our announcers have to start enunciating the Polynesian languages much in the last couple of years. That's going to change. We got about 4 or 5 of these guys that we got to start learning how to pronounce Samoan and Tongan language a little bit. And Pesa is the first one. Pesa is in one of my first jobs after I was a graduate assistant. Our head coach would call big guys. He would say, "Man, he is a mountain of a man." This guy right here is a mountain of a man. He's when he walks through a door, he's got to turn sideways, and he is a big human being. He's 6'5", 370 pounds, and you say, "Wow, 370 pounds." I'm telling you, this kid, and some of you guys saw him when he was on campus. This kid looks like he's about 290. So he is. There's something about that, man. But when you see a kid that has weight like that, obviously and he knows this. There's some things he and I talked about having to trim down, but he carries his weight very well, and so we're looking forward to him. But again, the biggest thing you can say about him, he's a nasty player. He's big and a physical player. He is not going to be. He's going to be one of those guys that you see at the end of the season does not give up sacks because people are going to have a hard time getting around him. He is a mountain of a man. So Pesa, we're excited about him. He's an older guy too. He's actually married and he has a child, and so he'll be coming here with a family. So that's kind of neat for him. I think that's all our offensive linemen. So the next guy up is our only tight end that we signed. His name is Walker Ring. He's 6'4". 225-pound tight end. He's from Lavernia High School. At Lavernia, he was first-team All-District as a defensive end, and we're kind of projecting him as a tight end for us, and that's a position we use a lot. And just a side note as a tight end, I don't know why people would not come here as a tight end. I've been here 4 years, and we've had 5 first-team All-Conference tight ends. All right, and so we use our tight ends very well, and he's excited to be part of that legacy. First team All-District, he's academic All-District, he's National Honor Society kid, and again, he is a very good long snapper. And so one of those weaknesses we had last year, we're going to try and make a strength through competition. So we're excited about Walker. I'm going to skip that guy and talk about him a little bit later. I think the next guy should be Xavier Henderson. All right, there we go. We're on the right track there. Xavier Henderson, another kid from Aldine Davis High School, defensive lineman. He's already a big kid, and so it's one thing being a mountain of a man coming from a junior college, and you got some age to you. Xavier is he's 17 years old right now. Defensive lineman, 6'2", 270-pound guy. He's a team MVP, first team All-District. Plans to major in sports management, like it says up there. Thing that you watch with him, and you watch film and you try and find little things that guys show that you say, man, we can work with this. As a defensive lineman, probably one of your best traits to have is be really quick twitched, guy that gets off the ball fast, and he definitely does that. He has great twitch. We're excited to see what Xavier can do here in the future. And again, defensive line, and these guys are told that it's a spot that they can come in, and especially the interior guys can play pretty quickly. So we're excited about Xavier. Next guy, Cedric Evans, another one of our local guys. Played at Veterans Memorial in Corpus Christi. 6'4", 240-pound. We're going to have him play defensive end for us. He played kind of a hybrid type of guy, linebacker and defensive line for them. He's going to play defensive end for us. He was a 2-time first-team All-District guy. He was All-South Texas, 3-time All-Academic. He is going to be an engineering student, and so he's a smart kid. But we're really looking forward to him. I first noticed Cedric about 2 years ago watching a game between Veterans Memorial and who was the game against? Cal Allen, Vet Memorial, Cal Allen, and watching those guys warm up, there's some guys that stood out on the field just in the warm-up, and I like to do that. I like to go out and kind of stand as close to the 50-yard line as I can and look both directions, and you kind of see what team you think's going to win, and then you start noticing guys. And Cedric was the first guy I noticed. He's tall, he's big, he's athletic. He's coming off a little bit of a knee injury from his junior year, and so he's still got some work to do to get back his explosiveness, but we're really excited about Cedric. Next guy, Dylan Sanchez, defensive lineman from Marshall High School in Houston. He's 6'3", 260 pounds. Again, I already mentioned it, but he's state runner-up on the football team. He was in the state track meet as a thrower for the state championship team. Two-time unanimous all-district guy. One thing you notice about Dylan now is he doesn't talk a lot. All right, but he'll look right through you. Kind of intimidates you when he looks at you. He's an intense dude now, and he came in when I went to Marshall High School with Coach Buff. We sat there, and there were a couple other kids who were talking to at Marshall, and Dylan comes in. He's this big giant kid, 6'3", 260, and he just looks at you and doesn't say anything, and he just, man, this guy, what's he gonna do to me? But we finally kind of warmed him up, and he came down here, loved the place. We compete against a lot of people for Dylan, so we're excited to have him play. Next guy, James Perez, defensive lineman. He's 6'3", 260 pounds, from New Braunfels Canyon High School. Looks like we're having some technical difficulties over there, but I'll get you. There we go. All right. James, two-time all-district. He was a team captain. Dual sport guy. He's really good in baseball as well. We're going to keep that one a secret from Jason, though. Keep him with football. We're going to keep him with us. Neat thing. There's a couple neat things about James. Number one, James' uncle's sitting in this room. Uncle, right? Yeah. Yeah, great uncle. There you go. Yeah, Lewis Bradshaw. He's related to Lewis Bradshaw. His mom and dad both are alums here, and so we had some people working behind the scenes on that one. Kind of a funny story about James is this was probably last Thursday. I'm driving home from. I actually just I didn't see James then, but he had just been on campus, and unbeknownst to Mr. Bradshaw, James had already committed to us, and Mr. Bradshaw was sitting in Joe Biedron's office, and Joe called me and said, "Oh man, what does Joe need to talk about?" What do we have to talk about? Javelina stations or something? That was always going through my mind, Joe. But Joe says, "Hey, I got Lewis Bradshaw on the phone. He wants to talk to you about one of his players, somebody who's related to him, I guess, that he wants you to look at." I said, "He wants me to look at, huh? Well, I know one of his relatives just committed, but there must be another guy." And so I pick up the phone, and Mr. Bradshaw starts talking to me and telling me about James. And I said, "Well, let me stop you there, Lewis. He is a Javelina." And Lewis hasn't stopped talking to me or anybody else about James and how excited he is about him coming down here since. And so it's really neat to bring guys like that are gonna build excitement, not just with the fans that don't even know him yet, but with people that this program means so much to. So that's fun, huh? We're looking forward to James. Next one, Ezra Thibodeau, defensive lineman, 6'3", 235-pound athlete from A-Leaf Taylor High School. You're noticing now, if you know much about the geography in Houston, we did a very nice job in the whole city, but particular, we started to get some players from that southwest part of the city. Which we hadn't been great at the last couple years, and there's a lot of players there that we saw going to other places, and so we cranked up our recruiting efforts in some of those schools, and this is one of them. A-Leaf Taylor, that whole A-Leaf area has a lot of athletes, and we're excited to have Ezra. Like I said, he's 6'3", 235. His head coach is Brian Randall. If you remember that name, Fred, he played here and helped us out with that. He was a team captain, all district. He's 6th in the state for shot put. We're going to keep that one secret too. Then he's, another thing, he's going to be playing in the Bayou Bowl. So he got elected to play in that All-Star game, which is a big honor for him. So we're excited to have Ezra come on down. All right. Let's see. The next guy should be Javian Lewis. Right, there we go. We're in order. There we go. Jay Lou, we start with our outside linebackers. You know, we signed a lot of defensive guys, as you'll hear. But Jay Lou, we call him Jay Lewis, Javian Lewis, 6'1", 185-pound guy from Aldine Davis, team captain. He's an all-district performer there. Thing that you notice about him, which is very key as you start talking about our outside linebackers, strong safety type players, he plays well in space. You know, he can tackle well in space. He comes down, he can cover the field. Very athletic kid, and so we're excited about Jay Lou. Christian Carter's the next guy. Outside linebacker, 5'11", 200-pound kid out of Willow Ridge in Houston. And you know, Willow Ridge traditionally has been unbelievable as far as putting talent out. We've had players here. One of my good friends I play with at Colorado State. In fact, he holds the all-time record for tackles at Colorado State. Always talk to me. He's a Willow Ridge guy about how good Willow Ridge is, and I think this is the first kid we've got out of Willow Ridge, and so we're excited to have him. He was first team all-district twice. He plays baseball as well. He's a 4-year letter winner in baseball. Thing that, you know, he is built to play right now. He's done a nice job. Those coaches have done a nice job with him in the weight room and getting him fine-tuned. He's one of the guys who come in and play right away, and he's a physical player, I'll tell you. So we're excited about Christian. Next guy up, keeping with that outside linebackers, a guy named Ryan Chisholm. All right? You look at name Chisholm. He's from Eagle Pass. You look at that face before you go back there, Coach. Can you go back? There you go. Look at that face. Lewis, does that look like anybody we got on our team? It's Ty Chisholm's little brother. Yeah, Ty Chisholm. So from Eagle Pass, Ryan is a they were district champs. He was a 2-time all-district guy. Like it says up there, brother, Ty Chisholm. And you watch film on him, and you know, when you're a strong safety and you have the when you're not afraid to tackle, I mean, he'll tackle anybody. You watch on film, doesn't matter how big the back is, how fast the back is, he finds ways to make tackles. And so he's a productive kid, and we're excited for him to be here for the next 4 or 5 years. Next guy is his teammate from Eagle Pass named David Kiperos. And you look at that. I had to go to the dictionary and you know, have somebody figure out how to pronounce that name, and we called him. I didn't want to screw that one up, but it was Kiperos. All right? And he is another outside linebacker, 6'2", 215-pound athlete. He was all-district. He was a district MVP. He was the Southwest Defensive Player of the Year in different publications. So he did a lot of good things in his high school career. A big kid. He's ready to play now. He's got to continue to get faster. But we're really looking forward to him coming and making an impact as quick as possible. Next guy, a corner, Xavier Bagley, 6 foot, 175-pound athlete, athletic corner from Aldine Davis. He was a fun guy to recruit, and I'll tell you, you know, in Division II, where you don't have 85 full scholarships like a Division I program, and you got to find ways to help kids afford college. This kid, man, I don't know if this is going to be an NCAA violation or not, but he got a 30 on his ACT. I can say that, right, Coach? I think, all right. I don't want to put guys' information out there, but he got 30 on his ACT, and if you do your math, that's $8,000 he gets from presidential scholarship. And so, unbelievable. So you talk about a guy that's an unbelievable football player and does a tremendous job on the field, and is smart like that and has done his work throughout his high school career that makes it where you can find a way to get him where he's not going to have to pay any money because of his academic excellence. We're excited about that. But talk about him. He's an all-district. He's team captain. Not only was he a 3-sport guy, he's a 4-sport guy. Played baseball and track at the same time. He's their team defensive player of the year. And the thing you watch in our defensive scheme, and really everywhere is going to this because of that little term you always hear on TV, the RPO, the run pass option. But everybody's going to man-to-man coverage, and Coach Buff's been playing man-to-man coverage before I was born probably. And so, we need guys that can play good man-to-man coverage, and Xavier certainly fits that bill. And so we're excited about him. Next guy, another corner, Jordan Pollard, 6'1", 190-pound corner, another transfer. He's from Tyler Junior College. And before that, he was at Cy Falls High School in the Houston area. He's big. He's physical. I mean, he gets his hands on people in press coverage, and they're not getting off the line of scrimmage, which is a great thing for us in our scheme. So he fits our scheme very well. Coach Cundiff and I went and did a home visit in December with Jordan and started talking to his dad, and his dad started talking about Peyton Manning carrying his pads at Tennessee. His dad was the number one recruit at wide receiver in the nation, and went to Tennessee, and he talking like he was making Peyton Manning carry his pads. And so that caught my attention. So you come from good blood, and he's a very athletic kid. He's very, like I said, big and physical. We're looking forward to getting him on campus. He's still got a little bit of work to do as far as a couple classes this semester, but he will be here in the fall. Next kid, Romario Perez, kicker from Veteran Memorial. About the best compliment I can give, and I always jokingly say I'm going to invent a league where you don't have any kicking involved, because I can't tell you how many games we've lost because of kicking. And I've coached for 21 years, and every coach could probably say that. You lost games that you shouldn't lose because of the kicking game. And so about the best compliment I could give Romario is a kicker who's not a kicker, if you understand. I mean, he's an athletic kid. He competes. He's fun to be around, and he's got an intensity to him. He broke the Corpus Christi School District record for longest field goal. He kicked a 54-yard field goal in high school. He was a 4-time All-District athlete, and he's a 2-time All-State kicker. And so, I mean, he has a lot of accolades. But again, the best thing I can say about him as a guy who doesn't coach kickers like Coach Cundiff is I really like this kid because he's a competitor, man. He is an athlete, and so we're excited about Romario. Okay, there's a few more guys that I had to get the okay from with Hannah while we've been going, but I think they've all got their paperwork in, so we're going to go here. First one up should be Max Latu. There we go. All right, so we got a few more Paulies on board. Max is a transfer linebacker from Mount San Antonio College, called Mount Sac. Everybody calls it Mount Sac, but it's Mount San Antonio College. He's about 6'3", 230-pound linebacker that, he can play anywhere in the country. And sometimes, with junior colleges, there's grades and things. We are very fortunate to have him here because every school at our level wants Max Latu on their football team, believe me. And we had to compete for him. Max came out here, fell in love with the place. We brought him out with another one of his teammates, and he fell in love with the place. He actually, one of the things that helped us is Brick, our receiver, Brick, went to Mount Sac, and he was roommates with Max. And Brick was already here, already committed, and helped us out with that. But again, Max could have gone a lot of places, and he's coming here to roam the field for us for a couple years. Next guy on the list, let's see, should be Noah. There we go. Noah Aluesi. All right, again, you can learn how to pronounce these things. Aluesi. All right, Noah Aluesi, 6'7", 305-pound defensive lineman. All right, so now you put yourself at guard or center and talk about wanting to block a guy that's 6'7", 305 pounds. All right, you put yourself as a running back wanting to be tackled by a 6'7", 305-pound defensive lineman. And again, he's one of those guys, he's 305 pounds. He looks like he's 260. Looks really good. He's got a giant, and Coach Sersha, probably he just left right now. No, he's right here. Somebody else, Coach Sersha right here. I've told him he's got to find a bigger helmet for him because his face mask is going to be about right here when he puts it on. He's got a giant head. Big human being. Mount Sac transfer, and he signed out of high school. He's from Portland, Oregon. Signed out of high school as a 3-star recruit at Oregon State. And so he has some Pac-12 ability to him, and the best thing you can watch on film is the kid's unblockable. cannot be blocked, and that's his challenge. A lot of people are going to hear this now, and he's got to live up to those words. All right. I think the last guy on our list for today, and there's a couple other guys that we're still waiting on, but the last guy on our list is one of their teammates from Mount Sac, Mosese Moala. Mosese Moala. And he's a defensive end. Okay? Mosese is 6'2", 250 pounds, great twitch, quick off the ball, gets to the quarterback. One thing that the Mosese is going to get people mad about in here, because I know there's a couple SAC club members in here, you're going to have to pony up some money because of Mosese. All right, he's going to get to the quarterback, get some sacks, and our weight room's going to benefit because of that. So thank you, Lewis. I think you're on that SAC club, and so he will help us with that SAC club. I think that's all. There's nobody else, is there, Coach? I think that's all. We're waiting on a couple of kids that have some signing things, and so look for the announcements here in the next couple days. But we are really, really excited about this class. Like I pointed out, what we needed, we certainly got. We're going to be much, much stronger, much more physical, and certainly much larger on the defensive line, which we needed. Our offensive line, we've found some experience and some help to help us that way. And then the key skill guys that we've signed, particularly at the wide receiver spot in terms of transfers, you're going to see benefits of those guys right away. And the neat thing is a lot of those guys are already here on campus. And so when we start practice the Tuesday after spring break and you come out and watch us practice for spring ball, you're going to see a lot of new faces that you haven't seen. And we're excited to get those guys taught and learn our systems and see what they can do on this field. And I mentioned right from the get-go, you get fired up at this time of year on the first Wednesday of February every year because everybody's future is bright. I can't recall standing up here as the head football coach at Texas A&M Kingsville feeling like our future is more bright than it is right now. We're really excited about these kids. We're excited about what they're going to be able to bring right now. And it's not just the transfers. Those high school kids are all equipped to do it right now. So that's exciting.